So it kind of all started around a ski trip, and I was, traveling out to Salt Lake City to go skiing and was road tripping across the country. Even in the middle of Nevada, hotel rooms were still $120 a night. Motel 6 used to be $6, and they've just slowly crept up. And the quality hasn't been improving that much, but the prices have been increasing. For the average American, people do not see that they simply cannot afford it. And so that really allowed me to see that as a problem that I was able to confirm that that was a problem through meeting a hotel developer. He gave me his pro forma, and I went line item by line item, and there were a lot of questionable charges. Like, what do people actually need? People don't care about fancy new carpet. People really just want a high quality product.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Investor Fuel Podcast. I'm your host, Leo Wehdeking, and today I am joined by someone I've been looking forward to chatting with, Ethan Sargent, who's been making serious moves in the hotel industry. All right. Ethan, glad to have you here, man. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you've been approaching the hotel industry. All right. So let's dive in. And for people who may not be familiar with your world, can you give us the short version on what's your main focus these days?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you first off. Thank you, Leo, for having me. It's a pleasure. And so our focus right now is really making hotel travel or making travel affordable, especially on the hotel side. Right now, with all these different brands of hotels, they're consolidated among 5 different players in the hotel industry. There's just a lot of different players that are it's all basically the same thing among the entire tier list of hotels. And right now we're really looking to bring in a new kind of hotel that doesn't sacrifice quality for price, but instead it just makes the space smaller and allows people to convert their office space into hotels and at a much more affordable price. And we believe we'll be able to, yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. And now, can I ask you, in what markets are you operating in?
So right now we're looking to start in San Francisco, right near the Giants Stadium down in South Beach. And we believe that this neighborhood that we're building our first site in, or converting our first site, is a phenomenal opportunity because a lot of the people in this neighborhood embrace new innovation. We're on the same block as GitHub, and we're 3 blocks away from the Caltrain station that leads right down to Silicon Valley, and a block and a half away from the Giants Stadium, and we're right there in the tech ecosystem where the innovation capital of the world. And so we believe that when we're able to bring a really great product coupled with a really good audience that embraces change and is embracing the future of travel, we believe that this will not just be another boutique hotel, but one that will be remembered and really appreciated.
Love it, love it, love it. Ethan, something that actually caught my attention about the way that about you is the way that you've been able to identify the need, okay, of these boutique hotels in your area. Because as you told me, or as I understood, you're the first one actually doing this in America, right?
Yeah.
So,
So
so how did you come up with that idea?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So it kind of all started around a ski trip, and I was, traveling out to Salt Lake City to go skiing and was road tripping across the country. Even in the middle of, in the middle of Nevada, hotel rooms were still $120 a night. Motel 6 used to be $6 and they've just slowly crept up. And the quality hasn't been improving that much, but the prices have been increasing. For the average American, people do not see that, that the average American cannot afford that. I think a lot of, people in the hospitality space or the hotel development space or the investment side of things already have money and they don't necessarily maybe see these problems, and that $20 increase in price it doesn't really impact them. And so with us, but it impacts a lot of other people, and they simply cannot afford it. And so that really allowed me to see that as a problem. I really was able to confirm that, through that, I was able to confirm that that was a problem through actually meeting a hotel developer, and it was a fairly big, name, and a, a fairly big hotel developer. And I was actually very fortunate enough to, he gave me his pro forma. And I went line item by line item, looking at, a typical development. I'm not going to say the name, but just a typical Hilton development. And there were a lot of questionable charges. And this was for the budget sector hotel. And, it's like a lot of this is thinking of like what do people actually need? It's, people don't care about, the interior design or like what fancy new carpet there's going to be. I think a lot of people really just want a high quality product. It's like going line item by line item. I'll just give you a few examples. There was 4 ice machines totaling $7,000 each, one for each floor. There was, there was
You go to
a
and you barely find one.
Yeah, well, it's just like the point being is that these hotel brands, you have to build whatever the brand specifies. And so a lot of the time in this hotel industry, you have a star rating. So when you had like AAA or, like you would just read through the newspaper and find, okay, well, I'm going to go and I'm going on vacation. Let's go find the 3-star hotel or the 4-star. It wasn't based off customer satisfaction. It was just based off of, a checkbox of, okay, does this hotel room have a desk? Does this hotel room have these, lists of things? And so without really actually customer feedback, they just made a list of, okay, this is how we classify different hotels. And what that leads to is you really have like a lot of extra space. You give any hotel room, take any hotel room.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
it's around 600 square feet if you add up, all the hallway space, everything. And you have an extra bath. Like, hotels right now are basically just glorified bathrooms. Most of it is just bathroom space. You have an entire bathroom to yourself that you might use once or twice. And so right now, the idea is super wasteful. There's plenty of other, you can go to an Equinox and you don't have your own, private bathroom. You have a shared bathroom. It doesn't have to be, either a hostel where you have the shared bathroom and it's dirty and disgusting, or, budget hotel where it's, $100 a night and still dirty and disgusting. It's you at least you get your own like private space. Instead, it's like, okay, let's actually just make this, let's, consolidate these bathrooms and let's, save on the construction costs and then really rethink what do the customers actually want? Not what does a rating system want, but what do the customers want? And you can see this through the you look at the net promoter score of all these major hotels and they're all just absolute garbage. They're all in the negative. So, you survey 100 people and you ask, okay, are you going to be a promoter, neutral party, or distractor? And, majority of people are saying, I would not, like, they're going to be a distractor. They want to avoid Quality Inn, Motel 6, Choice, Red Roof, Travelodge, Days Inn, Super, there's so many, or for 8, there's so many different brands, but they're all poorly rated. And also, they all make billions of dollars every year because there's no other options. So it's like, not only is it a really crappy industry, but it's also a really big industry that's just been untouched and really hasn't had much thought or innovation going into it.
All right. Yeah, that's actually not easy to do, especially in this climate. Now, let me ask you something, Ethan. What's been the recipe, all right, or the key to keeping your business running smoothly so far?
I would say that having the patience to go through and really question everything, and really going into it with not a lot of fear. I've like there's a lot of just kind of figuring it out. And when I first started this out, I had really no idea of, any banking worked, like nothing. It's just like, okay, I gotta get some money. Walked into a bank. And I kid you not, I did this multiple times. Just, hey, I need some cash. I have the whole pro forma right here. So walked into the bank and they're like, well, you're gonna need. You can't just have 100% loan to value. You can't just loan out 100% of the property. You're going to need to have money. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I supposed to get money? And so kind of working backwards and unshamefully just going in and figuring it out. And, even though, we have made mistakes and we've learned a lot, I think every single time I, go to an event or I meet someone, if I can just learn one thing, even if it might not have to do with, the direct problem that I'm trying to solve, that's a win in the books. And it's those wins compound over time and it really allow us to re-question and rethink this whole thing from the ground up.
Right, all right. That's good, Ethan. Now, let's, changing the subject a little bit. I know that every operator has a moment where things got real, all right? Maybe a deal that went sideways or a time that they had to pivot fast, all right? Do you mind sharing one of those moments?
Sure. I will say that I think right now we are not there where we are going to have to pivot or where we've had to really pivot. I would say that there hasn't so far. When we first started out, we were thinking we were going to make these pods in house and focusing more on the manufacturing side. And then, slowly but surely we realized, okay, well,
if you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Maybe it's not the most efficient thing to be making these in-house. So I would say that at first my hunch was, okay, how do we really, we want to pack as many people as we can into one space. Density is going to be the key to this, and we need to have as many people in one building as we can. And really figuring out that actually, you know what? I don't think so. I think it's going to be where we're going to save a lot of money is consolidating the bathrooms. And so that one, I think really allowed us to, it wasn't a huge shift in the business plan or anything, but that one change really allowed us to unlock a lot more potential properties, because once you start stacking these pods on top of each other, it's really challenging to have a locking door and stack them, just because you need, all these, fire, life safety requirements. And so just simplifying that and just having, a single phone, think of like a phone booth where you just extend the phone booth out, just having that, and it's just off the shelf components. And then, we just put them in any space like that really simplified the business and really made it that unlock where we can scale. Once we prove out the first concept, we believe that we'll be able to scale really much quicker than any other brand, because there's just a lot less TI that we have to do to each location.
All right, all right, all right. Now, let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next? What's the next real goal for you?
Yeah, so I think the right in front of us, we're looking at that property near the ballpark over by the Giants stadium, and so that's right in front of us. And then I think right there, we really want to focus on making sure that is the working model that is really good. Before we, I think there might be I'm sure we'll have other competitors come to the space before we, really try to scale, really make sure that we're dialed in, and make sure we're really valuing our customers first, and not going in with any assumptions of like, hey, they really need a breakfast bar, especially in today's day and age with DoorDash, and dietary restrictions. We believe that maybe we don't need a hot bar, and pass those savings on to the customers, and the $100 that they save from us not serving breakfast, now they can spend $20 on whatever meal they would like,
Exactly.
prepared by actual chefs. So I think that's our like really figuring out. But maybe a bunch of our customers would like breakfast, and then we bring it back, so figuring out exactly what we need to do. And then I think either bringing out a franchise, or we'll probably do a few more developments ourselves or renovations ourselves, and get a few more kind of in-house, and then really franchising out the model. And then I think possibly going in and targeting the rest of the country. I think a lot of the motels, like that's where there are a lot of budget hotels on the side of the road, and we think that there's over 800,000 budget room 800,000 budget rooms right now. And so we think that we can really make a pretty big dent in that space, and
That's space.
really decrease the price.
All right, all right. Well, let me tell you something. Now that I've seen that you got everything already in place, all right, that next move that you're looking to, okay, can either compound things or create chaos depending on how you play it. All right, because you're trying to insert something new into a model that already exists and it works. And the most important thing, people already know it. All right. So that's just one of my opinions. All right. Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. Now, Ethan, I think that a lot of people that are listening to us, they're either early in their journey or they're just looking to level up. And I think they will benefit from hearing this coming from you. All right. Now, when it comes about building relationships and growing your network, what's made the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, I would say that really asking for help, really, and then also being willing, it's really hard to ask people for help in the beginning, especially. I think it's like, how am I gonna, ask, this person that might have known me for a while and seen me as a kid, how am I gonna ask him, for, advice, or
Nice.
just,
Or help.
ask for help, right? Especially like, he might think like, people worry about what they're going to think of, what is he going to think of me? Or, you really just have to put yourself out there and really kind of do it. And then I would also say that, like, your first idea or your first, project, this is not my first business that I've started, so you are going to have to try and like go into it thinking, I want to fail as quickly as possible so I can just get back up and then just keep going. The goal is to learn, and that's, I've tried to take the approach of, okay, this is to learn, and if eventually something will work. You don't have all these other successful people that, it's not impossible. So somehow it's possible. And if they could do it, so could I. And you just have to, just be, open ears and learn as much as you can.
All right, all right. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. It's not about falling, it's about how quick you can get up. Am I right?
Yeah,
Perfect, perfect.
yeah, yeah.
All right, all right. Ethan, before we wrap up, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, or maybe collaborate or learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I mean, I really like to keep the comms open. So I will say that, you can shoot me an email at ethan.sargent@sleepspace.net. Or, I will give out my phone number. It's 415-419-1478. If there's someone who's very interested and wants to work or collaborate or has ideas on how we can improve or potential sites that might be a really good fit for the community, I would love to get any advice or feedback, and feel free to call me or text me. So we really like to have transparency and keep the comms open around here. So
All
I'll
right,
leave
all
it. Yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, listen, Ethan, I really appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. All right. We need more people in this space who are actually doing it the right way. So thanks again for being on the show. And for those of you just tuning in, all right, if you got value from this, make sure you're subscribed. All right. We got more conversations coming up with operators just like Ethan, okay, who are out there building real businesses. All right. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.